Welcome to Eclectic Entertainment. I am Marie and I'll be the mediator, and with me is Sloan, Alyssa, and Annie. With Halloween coming up, we thought it'd be fun to talk about some of the best Halloween horror movie franchises. We will be covering Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, and Paranormal Activity. There will be spoilers, so just watch out. So we'll start out with talking a bit about the franchises.
I guess I'll start. I'm doing A Nightmare on Elm Street, which is a horror movie, but it's a subgenre, of slasher films. And although it's a little hard to, condense so many movies into a couple sentences, I'm going to give it a shot. And, Freddy Krueger is the villain, and he is a supernatural character because he is part of the afterlife. He has already died, and he controls the dream world. So when you're dreaming, he can produce himself in it as long as you already know who he is. If you know his name, it's like the key to him, and he can just come into your dreams and do whatever you want, which is usually killing you in a gruesome fashion.
So I should forget his name right now.
You should. Yeah. Everyone who has heard this, you guys, oh God, no. Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep.
Creepy jingle that goes along with it.
Yep, there you go. And that's basically A Nightmare on Elm Street. He follows a girl named Nancy Thompson during most of the movies. Her family and her friends, he all infiltrates their minds and they become his victims as well. And that just goes on for the entire franchise in the creepiest way possible.
Well, I guess I'll sum up the Scream. There's a ghost-faced villain, and he goes around and kills the family of the Prescotts. And he killed the wife first, and he tries to get the daughter, but she's pretty well fought for herself, and she defended herself during the first couple attacks that she encountered. And it kind of goes throughout the movie, and he goes and kills a lot of people in the town and stuff, and her friends and people she's really close to. And it comes up at the end, and she's about to get killed, and all of a sudden a person from the town kills the villain instead.
All right, and Paranormal Activity is about a woman named Katie who has been followed by a demon who goes by the name of Toby. Followed her whole life, and the first movie is of Katie and her boyfriend Micah. They are tormented by this demon, and by the end of the movie, she is possessed with Toby, and then the following movies are Paranormal Activity 2 is just a few months before all the incidents of the first movie, and then the third Paranormal Activity is Katie as a child, as a young girl with Toby, and the fourth one would be a sequel to the first one. So it's a little confusing, but all the same story, the same demon possessing this woman. Very scary possession franchise.
So now I'm going to go deeper into you guys' franchises and why they're the best. What attributes of your villain make the franchise the best?
I would say my villain, being a demon, it's unique in such a way that it's not seen, like Freddy Krueger and like Scream. You never get to see what Toby looks like, and leaving it all to the imagination. And being a demon, it's very realistic because people believe in that and they fear that. So,
although Annie says that a really frightening aspect to her villain happens to be the fact that you can't see it. I do agree with that. But the demon aspect, I think, is a little wonky when it comes to terms with Freddy Krueger because he is a demon. He's demonic in the things that he does. He was a child murderer while he was living, and he is one in the afterlife as well. And just to be that evil of a being is demonic to a lot of people. And not only that, but that song, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. Oh. You know that song, and something bad is going to happen. And something that makes him really unique is the way he looks, unlike what Paranormal Activity has. You know what he looks like. When you see that striped green and red sweater, when you see that glove, with the claws coming out of it, that fedora, his burned face. When it pops up in your dreams, you know what's going to happen. And so it's a different kind of, villain than in Paranormal Activity. In Paranormal Paranormal Activity, you don't see it. It's left up to the imagination. But in Nightmare on Elm Street, you know exactly what you're going to get, which is a different fear all on its own.
Well, in Scream, it's a little different than both of those because my person's actually real and living. And it's not just one, there's two of them as villains. So it's kind of, it's a scary factor because one of the persons actually got thrown in jail because they were accused of it. And while having the other person act as the ghost face and calling the people, they were like, oh, he's innocent because he didn't call him. Well, he ends up being one of the killers at the end of the movie, so I think the switch of having two of them can really throw you off, and it can put in that good villain factor of just kind of sometimes the unknown.
So what fears does your franchises play off of to, make your franchises the best?
Well, with Scream, I would have to say that the fact that they're high schoolers, and I mean they're getting murdered. I mean they're dropping like flies. It's insane of how many people die in this movie, and with just with the innocence of them, like even going around talking about these different stories and these different movies of the horror movies and everything. They in the movie they make a rule list of like what not to do. So it's just kind of funny of how like they make it funny, but yet they're innocent as well. And I think that's why the fear in the movie is just, this can really happen in real life.
Well, I think compared to like a high school, the fear of possession is a little more personal. It's a fear that, like I said before, people believe in, and therefore, and plus the movie is based in one house and one family, and I think just because of how personal it is, the idea of that makes it that much more scary.
With Nightmare on Elm Street, it's a different kind of fear than these two present, because although it has to do with innocence, kind of, it also takes, like sleeping and turns it into something very scary. Sleeping is something humans have to do to survive. And he takes this and he makes it scary by infiltrating your sleep, your dreams, and killing you. You can't not sleep. It doesn't happen for human beings. You can always avoid, going to class with the murderers. You can leave town. It's a little harder for possessions, I assume, but just go get some holy water and you should be okay. But this, you can't not sleep, and it's wherever you sleep. You can be in China sleeping, you can be in Brazil sleeping, you can be in this classroom sleeping.
So it's like an inevitable fear.
Exactly. If you sleep, he can find you if you know his name, and it just feeds off that. And another way it's also frightening is because the reason Freddy Krueger, is around is because the parents burned him alive, and this is his revenge. And it just makes you think of, the things that you do in life, what consequences do they have? Is karma going to get you, or is Freddy Krueger going to come in and take your child while they're sleeping?
I am so not sleeping anymore. So, how has your franchises become the most popular?
A Nightmare on Elm Street is the oldest of the three. The first one came out in 1984. There's been 8 films since, with a remake in 2010. There's also has been a TV show called Freddy's Nightmares, which Freddy Krueger is the host. There's been novelizations of the film. There's been comic books, video games, bobblehead dolls that you can buy. And, all of this just makes it so popular, and people want to buy this. Halloween costumes, you can see them for guys, girls, kids. You can be Freddy Krueger at any age you want, any gender, anything. And it's really interesting to see it become so popular, and it's been staying popular steadily, even though most of the movies that were made have been in the past.
Well, I think that would be really interesting to see a little child Freddy Krueger running around. That would scare me. Paranormal Activity, I think, it has become popular. Sure, it's true, Freddy Krueger, everyone knows the name, everyone knows what it refers to, but I too think that Paranormal Activity is becoming popular. People hear that title and they know what it is. It's actually the complete opposite as Nightmare on Elm Street. It is brand new. The first movie came out in 2009, so not even 5 years ago. I think it's amazing because it's filmed in first person with handheld cameras and on tripods and stuff, so it's very, very unique in that way. And I think it's become popular because also every single moment of the movie is on the edge of your seat. It's so suspenseful, and the ending is always a really scary ending. So I think that's what keeps people coming back for more every movie, just because of how unique it is, how it's filmed, and the fear of it. So.
Well, I guess for Scream, I mean, it's right in the middle. I mean,
age-wise.
Yes, age-wise. It was made in 1996, and the last one, Scream 4, was made in 2011. So after that, we don't know if they're making a fifth one. But they are starting a TV series in 2014, so it'll be exciting to see what that's about. I guess it's popular because, I mean, everybody knows what Scream looks like. The big face, the big mouth and everything, and it being white, and then the black gown. You see it around Halloween a lot. They're just chilling out, walking around the neighborhoods, getting candy. That's unfair. And you see it in video games sometimes. It's just kind of the common factor. A lot of people know it. A lot of people recognize the mask and the face and just kind of the story behind it, and they know what it's about. So it's relating, all about it and stuff. So I'd have to say that's why it's popular still today.
So now that we've kind of discussed, why these franchises are the best to us, you listeners can go and decide for yourselves which is the best. So until next time, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.